a dream, that dream is green. And I don't mean material things. Freedom to the land, to woman and man. As we take up for what we stand. Better days and better nights. As we stand and unite. We're one and the same. Why is it so hard not to point and to blame? Better sheet, get our houses in order and we'll see the peace. There are steps that we must take if we want to see.
I see my people rising, no more stopping us. Couple big niggas cross America, us. The peace rose for the sake of us.
The sake of us, the
I
sake
see
of us.
my people rising, no more stopping us. Couple billion niggas cross America, us. The peace rose for the sake of us. No more feeling, telling me and beneath. What a beautiful moment, and a sight I can't wait to see. Even if I miss it, at least I was a part of the mission, changing lives of men, women, and children. All glory goes to He that causes us all to be you. And if they're thinking we can, show them that just as long as we stay a monument, we the people can't be broken as long as we stay focused. I see my people rising, no one stopping us. Couple billion niggas cross America, us. The peace rose for the sake of us, for the sake of us. I see my people rising, no more stopping us. Couple billion niggas cross America, us. The peace rose for the sake of us. I see my people rising, yeah.
All right, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom lekulam. Ani mipeleh shehakol beseder edkem hayom. I pray all is well with you all today. I am Naseekh HaRashee Shama, or Chief Prince Shama of Beit Mazan Ministries. Those of you that's watching right now, you're probably on YouTube. This is our channel, Beit Mazan Network. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel. We have a couple different segments that we do. On Yom Shishi on Friday, we do Love and Balance talk sessions where we discuss matters dealing with our people, bringing them closer to one another and closer to the Most High. And of course, today we do Shabbat class. So I'm going to end up taking this down for a little bit, but make sure going forward, you all, if you wanted to donate after Shabbat. You could donate. Our Cash App is present, as well as our PayPal and things of that nature. But today's title is for Then I Will Turn to the People a Pure Language. Then I will turn to the people a pure language. Before we go there, this is not a concept that is foreign with our people. Pre-exilic, post-exilic, even to this day in 2025, this is not different. For then I will turn to a people of pure language. We know that this comes from Zephaniah. That's what we're going to be in today. We're going to be in Zephaniah mainly. That's the core of this message. But the message itself is nothing different. The Most High has been, through our scriptures, saying this to us over and over again, using the prophets prior to post-exilic to say a similar message, as well as after. So we're going to get started. And those that's not really familiar with Zephaniah, Zephaniah, as I was saying, pre-exilic and post-exilic, is considered to be a pre-exilic prophet. He's a pre-exilic prophet, bringing a message before Jerusalem or Yerushalayim was even destroyed. So he was prophesying before the Babylonian period, the Babylonian exile, I should say. He was active during the time of Josiah, one of my favorite kings, right? If not the favorite king of mine. He prophesied around people like Nahum, Jeremiah, Habakkuk, and also even Huldah, the prophetess. All right. So, and it's interesting. We're going to go into the Huldah, the prophetess, as well, because it's important what we're going to be reading. So we're going to go ahead and get started. You all, please take notes if you have a piece of paper, pen. Take notes if you have a tablet, whatever it is that you take your notes on. I pray that this message that I bring forth really touches you all and provokes thought. And before we get started, I'll go ahead and open up really quickly with a prayer, because before we talk about matters, before we deal with the scriptures, we want to make sure that we ask for the presence of the Most High to be before us when we're talking about these matters. All right. So let's begin. Borenu abinu malkinu animebekesha nabolaka seshelka salakli alko to mashahip ezidru khanid wanafshit. Our King, our Creator, our Father, I ask that we approach your throne. Please forgive us for any uncleanness that is spiritual, physical, and mental. We praise your name. We glorify you. We thank you for another Shabbat. We thank you for another day to re-energize our spirit, our understanding, to sit back and remove the work out of our life at this moment and just focus on you and focus on our growth as a people. We ask that you continue to show us your paths, your truths, and your ways, and forgive us for anything that we have done to offend you. And please show us the proper ways of serving you, the proper ways of being before our people, and the proper way of just showing our children after us so the generations can become more pure and can become in what this title is going to be speaking of in this realm. So, Toda Rabbah. Haluat Makoaniski, Haluat Takoachaniski, Haluat Malak, Elion, praise the eternal power, praise the eternal source, and praise the Supreme King. All right, you all. We're going to go ahead and get started. Starting in the book of Zephaniah. Starting in the book of Zephaniah, chapter 1. I gave you a little information for those that weren't familiar with pre-exilic and post-exilic and where he would have ended up in, and who his message would have been spoken around, right? And also his contemporaries, a couple of his contemporaries. Zephaniah chapter 1:1 says, let me pull it up for you all. Give me a second. Let me pull it up and make sure you all are able to see what I'm going to be reading. All righty, here we go. Well, I should be popping up pretty soon. There we go. Zephaniah 1:1. Let me pull this off too so I can be seen. All right. Zephaniah 1:1, and it reads. Hold up 1 second. Appreciate you all with your patience. All right. Move some stuff across. Zephaniah 1:1 says, the word of Yah, or the word of the Supreme King that came to Zephaniah, the son of Cushi, the son of Gedaliah, son of Amariah, son of Hezekiah, in the days of Josiah, the son of Ammon, king of Yehudah. So we see that Zephaniah was in the days of Josiah, right? It's also a school of thought that believes that he is also a descendant of Hezekiah, which makes him to be one of the part of Judah's royal line, all right, being associated and related to King Hezekiah is a school of thought. They also believe that he's related to Josiah, but that's another topic. Let's keep going. Verse 2 says, I will utterly sweep away everything from the face of the earth, right? Declares the Most High. And I just want to bring something out. Let's click on this. Let's click on 1. You see KJV says land. When you click on this, it brings out, it says, Edama Adama, which is really soil. Okay. So this could be looked at as earth in general, but contextually, this is talking about the regions and where he is from. All right. But let's keep going. I will sweep away man and beast. I will sweep away the birds of the heavens and the fish of the sea and the rubble with the wicked. I will cut off mankind from the face of the earth, declares the Most High. I will stretch out my hand against Yehuda and against all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and I will cut off from this place the remnant of Baal. Remember that, keep that in mind. And the name of the idolatrous priests, along with the priests, those who bow down on the roofs to the hosts of the heavens, those who bow down and swear to the Most High, and yet swear by Milcom. So he's sitting up here saying at this point, these priests, these leaders, right? I'm going to cut them off. I'm going to remove them. Those that swear by my name and also swear by Milcah. Verse 6, those who have turned back from following the Most High Yah, who do not seek the Most High or inquire of him. So watch this. Verse 6 says, those who have turned back from following the Most High. So these individuals are those who had an understanding of who the Most High was, had an understanding of how they're supposed to be following the Most High, right? But chose to go a different route while still 1 foot in with the Most High. That's problematic. Why is that problematic? Because if you are a leader or leaders over individuals that's watching you, they're watching you. So they're trying to learn what's the proper way of serving the Most High. But then they see you 1 foot in, 1 foot out. They may not be as strong as you. So you're causing the people to fail. You're causing the people to not have a grasp, a great understanding on how to truly serve the Most High because of how you are moving, your actions. This is addressing to the leaders. It's addressing to the people too, but it's addressing the leaders, the teachers, those that are over everyone. I'm harping on this so much because a lot of our youth today are not wanting to serve the Most High in the way that our culture and customs demand due to the leaders' inconsistency of how they are with the people. So they say, I'm going to serve the Most High how I feel I'm supposed to. I'm going to be spiritual. My connection is going to be here. And their heart might be for the Most High, but they're tired of the confusion and the inconsistency. So you see what the Most High did here in Zephaniah? Most High said, I'm going to the priests, right? I will stretch out my hand against Judah and against all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and I will cut off from this place the remnant of Baal, and name of the idolatrous priests, along with the priests, those who bow down on the roofs to the hosts of the heavens. Then in verse 6 says, those who have turned back from following me, who do not seek me or inquire of me anymore. It's many of us that's not doing that. But we'll get up here and teach on Shabbat. We'll get up here and try to give counsel to other people. But we're not truly seeking the Most High. And a lot of times we're seeking the Most High just based off of repetition. Just because it's something that we feel we need to do because I'm an Israelite or I'm a child of the Most High. But we're not truly inquiring. We're not truly seeking. All right, let's do something really quickly. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 4. Should I have my other screen because some of you are probably coming in. Want to make sure you know where we're at. Give me a second. We're going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 4. Deuteronomy 4, 15 through 20. Shabbat shalom, those of you that's tuning in right now. Appreciate you. I pray this message is going to be what it needs to be for you. All right. Deuteronomy chapter 4. It's a learning experience too. I'm going to make sure I have my other screen next time. Verse 15 through 20. I believe I said it's going to be. Yep. 15 through 20. All right. Therefore, watch yourselves very carefully. This is important. Watching ourselves very carefully is important. Last Shabbat, I spoke on preserving our words, right? And this is actually going to tackle it, what we're going to be in Deuteronomy 4 or Deuteronomy 17, which is next. Watching yourselves very carefully is preserving your life in all subjects. So last week we were talking about speaking, right? It's better to be silent, preserve your mouth. Now, the Most High here in Deuteronomy 4 is saying, watch yourselves very carefully, since you saw no form of the day that the Most High spoke to you at Horeb out of the midst of the fire. Beware lest you act corruptly by making a carved image for yourselves. What does this have to do with anything? This is all pointing back to what the prophets is bringing out, more specifically Zephaniah, which is where we're at. So beware lest you act corruptly by making a carved image for yourselves in the form of any figure, the likeness of male or female, the likeness of any animal that is on the earth, the likeness of any winged bird that flies in the air, the likeness of anything that creeps on the ground, the likeness of any fish that is in the water under the earth. Wait a minute, hold on. So we can't make any of those? Is that what the Most High is saying? But then the Most High have us do that with the temple? Wasn't we doing graven images? Things above and beneath? Context is very important, you all. What he's saying, and we're going to see in verse 19, and beware lest you raise your eyes to heaven, and when you see the sun and the moon and the stars, all the hosts of the heaven, you be drawn away and bow down. Bow down is a form of worship. All right. It's a such thing as reverence of bowing, and it's a such thing as worship. The Most High put this in place because the Most High wanted us to understand that these things can cause us to go away, as we read in Zephaniah just now. We got 1 foot in and 1 foot out. It says, you be drawn away and bow down to them and serve them. That's the key. Things that Yah, your Elohim, has allotted to all the peoples under the whole heaven. This was for a purpose. These are supposed to be for signs for us to understand when the Moedim was to be present, or anything to that nature, dealing with migration, not migration, what's the word I'm looking for? Agriculture, all these different things. These things were for that purpose. Now that those things are giving us the things we need, oh, we're cold, the sun is out, so it's giving us heat. Praise the sun. Oh, I can't really see it, but the moon is full. I can see this. Praise the moon. The Most High is using the Malachim to protect us. Oh, praise the Malachim. No, we need to be wise enough to understand what is the purpose of those things and who is supreme over those things. That is what he's trying to tell us to do. That is what Zephaniah is saying in chapter 1, verses 1 through 6. All right. But the Most High Yah has taken you and brought you out of the iron furnace, out of Mizraim, to be a people of his own inheritance, as you are this day now. In Mizraim, it was multiple mighty ones, as we call them. I don't even want to call them mighty ones, but things that we reference to be a creator. But you're the one creating it. And if you're getting reverence to these things, you're really the one that's dictating how you move. These things can't really do anything for you, but now you're insulting the Most High, right? By giving them this power. That's an insult. So let's keep going. We're going to go ahead and go to Deuteronomy or Devarim 17. All right? Devarim or Deuteronomy 17, and we're going to go 2 through 7. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, because context is key. Yes, context is key. You know, it wouldn't make sense if he's telling us not to do these graven images and things like that, but he allows us to do it for him, then it has to be a deeper understanding, which he goes into it as far as serving them and bowing down to them. Now you're given what's the creation's purpose, the purpose of the creator. That's not what he wants us to do. All right, Deuteronomy 17. Verse 2. We're going to start at verse 2. Actually, let's read verse 1, just for context. You should not sacrifice to the Most High, your Elohim, an ox or a sheep in which is a blemish and defect whatever, for that is an abomination of the Most High. All right, so that's a continuation of the previous chapter. But let's keep going. If there is found among you within any of your towns that the Most High, your Elohim, is giving you, a man or a woman, who does that is evil in the sight of Yah, your Elohim. No, evil in the sight of your friend. No, evil in the sight of this person on Facebook. Evil in the sight of your family member. Now, granted, when I say this is not to remove the purpose of your elders in your family, your older brothers, your older sisters, and things of that nature. But this is saying something specific, because we have moments in our family, we have moments in associates or friends where we may not agree on something, and it may be a misunderstanding and a difference of perspective that may look at a situation and say, man, that's wrong what you're doing. And they're saying it based off of their understanding of what something should be. So the scripture is specific in saying who does what is evil in the sight of Yah for a reason. In transgressing his covenant, verse 2 says, keep going, and has gone and served other powers and worshiped them. We just read this in chapter 4. Or the sun, or the moon, or any of the hosts of heaven, which I have forbidden. And it is told to you, and you hear of it, then you shall inquire diligently, right? So it's letting you know that if someone is found among you and is told of you, is told to you, right? At this point, then you shall inquire diligently. Diligently meaning do not jump the gun. We talked about this last Shabbat. Go into it, find out the details properly. Inquire diligently. And if it is true and certain that such an abomination has been done in Yisrael, then you should bring out to your gates that man or woman who has done this evil thing, right? And you shall stone that man or woman to death with stones. Now, we understand we're not doing that today, but the concept is very important in what we're about to read with the next verse. So I want to bring this out, all right? On the evidence of 2 witnesses or of 3 witnesses, the one who is to die shall be put to death, right? It has to be more than 1 witness. It can't just be the person that's saying it. We said that last week. A person should not be put to death on the evidence of 1 witness. The hand, now watch this, verse 17. The hand of the witness shall be first against him to put him to death. So you just can't be somebody that say something there, disappear. You got to be a part of this now. You got to see this experience. Now, this is talking about something dealing with if they're serving and worshiping other powers, and we got to remove them. And that person that saw them and said it, okay, he has to be or she has to be a part of it now, since they're bringing it to the people and before the people. And by them being a part of it, this is also going to make them think, okay, I got to make sure that I don't do this either, because this can be me. Everything is about accountability, more witnesses. We're in the book of Zephaniah right now. These prophets are witnesses among themselves. The Most High is sending prophets after prophets after prophets to say the same message. Today's title is "For Then I Will Turn to the People of Pure Language." We look at Zephaniah 3:9 and say that's what this place is. This is what it means. We're going to see something differently once we get to that point when I bring it out. But that's not something new. Zephaniah 3:9 is not something new. Each point in time, pre-exilic, post-exilic, 2025, this title applies for each one. But we're taught that this is talking about a language. I don't knock it. I get it. I don't teach it, and we're going to allow the scripture to bring the evidence of what it's really talking about. Cain, they have to be accountable even in dispensing judgment. Yeah, we can't just do that. Okay, we have witnesses. We have these witnesses. Bring it to the judge. And now I back off. You got to be a part of it. But we see that today. We see that the judicial system, they're taking pieces of the Torah. They know the importance of a witness. We have witnesses today that, well, no, I don't want to say nothing because this can do this to my name, or they might be after me. And we have those lawyers there say, well, we have no case if this person don't come. This person has to come in order for this to be valid. But let me not get too far off of it. Let's keep going. Let's keep going, you all. If you are watching right now, please take the time and please take the time to share. Because again, I pray something that is said is going to apply to your life today. All right. So make sure that you share this. And if you're sharing it now, if you're sharing it preferably while I'm live, let those individuals know to start from the beginning. All right. Get the full, we're talking about context a lot. So we don't want to just come into it and not get the full understanding and the context of what the message is trying to be convey. All right. So we're going to go to 2 Kings 23. We're going to go to 2 Kings chapter 23. And before I go there, I'll pull this up for you all to see it. I want to go back to Zephaniah 1. While you all are getting your scripture together, getting that ready, I'm going to go to Zephaniah 1 one more time because I want to show something. All right. I want to show something. So, you know, sometimes they put these here and here to kind of give you an idea of what it may be talking about. It's not always correct, but it says the coming judging of Yehudah. All right. So Zephaniah is speaking of something that's to come, pointing to the Babylonian period as event that's going to transpire. But I wanted to bring something out real quick. It says, I will stretch out my hand against Yehudah, right? Zephaniah 1 and 4. 1 through 6 is 4 through 6 is what I'm going at, because we're going to 2 Kings. And some of you might be wondering, why are we going to 2 Kings? What is the purpose of this? But Zephaniah is in this time. When you're going over the scripture, we cannot just read it like a book. And if you are, keep growing and understanding that these, like 2 Kings and 1 Kings and Isaiah and Zephaniah, they all are around that same period. So we need to understand the context. So I told you that Zephaniah was in the time of Josiah when he was young. And right around the period when he started to go in a direction that he was supposed to, which why we're going to 2 Kings. But we want to read something. Verse 4 says, I will stretch out my hand against Yehudah and against all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and I will cut off from this place the remnant of Baal in the name of the idolatrous priests, along with the priests, those who bow down on the roofs, to the host of the heavens. That's why I went to Deuteronomy for you all, because this is all in the law. But then it was a book that they was missing. It was a book that was presented to Josiah by a priest. And they needed to get the information from a prophetess by the name of Huda, if I'm saying it correctly. All of this is connected. A book was missing that they did not have in the time of Josiah. But it says, verse 5, those who bow down on the roofs to the host of the heavens, those who bow down and swear to the Most High on one side, and then, but yet swear to Milcom, those who have turned back from following me. So that means you had understanding. I already went through this, but I'm saying it again. You had understanding of who the Most High was, but you chose to turn away. You turn back from it. But to the people, you're acting as though you are serving the Most High. But you're not seeking the Most High. You're seeking the Most High according to how you want to seek the Most High. Remember we was talking about graven images and creating powers for yourselves? Now this power, the way that you want this power to look at you, the way that you want to serve the Most High. That's what's happening. That's what happened. What happened then. That's what's happening with our leaders today, which is birthing more leaders and more teachers. Now let's go to 2 Kings. 2 Kings 23. Where are you at? 2 Kings 23. There we go. And we're going to read. I'm going to take this down. All right. 2 Kings chapter 23. We're going to start from verse 1. I was just going to read verse 11, but I think context is important here. 23 verse 1 says, then the king sent all the elders of Yehuda and Jerusalem or Jerusalem were gathered to him. So he sent, and all the elders of Judah and Jerusalem were gathered. And the king went up to the house of the Most High. This is Josiah, by the way, everyone. And with him all the men of Yehuda and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and the priests and the prophets, all the people, both small and great. And he read in their hearing all the words of the book of the covenant that had been found in the house of Yah. Do y'all research and study up on Josiah. It's an amazing history. I'm not even going to say story. It's an amazing history of ours. It shows you, I'm going to let the scriptures say it, but since this is one of my favorite kings, I like to speak on it. I do not knock. I teach and I try to present, but I do not truly just knock those that's in Christianity or other religions. The ones that are truly trying to seek from the understanding that they have. There are some great people that are Christians. There are some great people that are Muslims. Great people. I know this don't matter to some of you, but just hear me out. So you have Josiah, which the scripture is going to say that he did everything right in the eyes of the Most High. Now, contextually, that can just be speaking on how he turned around so effortlessly. But I want to put in there that I believe it's a chance that he was following according to what he was taught to the best of his ability at that point. Why do I say that's the case? It's because of how easily he shifted. And we're going to keep reading that in a minute. So he had an understanding. He was going in the direction of what the elders and those before him was teaching, the priests, things like that. He was going in that direction to the best of his ability, to the best that he knew how. That's what I believe is some Christians are doing right now that may not have had the word that we're giving and we're putting out right now. I believe that may be the case for some individuals. Not all, though. It's only a remnant of a remnant in every subject, in every group of people, and especially in the scriptures. But let's keep going. All right, so 2 Kings chapter 23, verse 2. That's where we're at right now for those that's coming in right now. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you like and share. This message is for then I will turn to the people a pure language. All right. And we're in Zephaniah, but I need to put things together for it to show the consistency and the understanding of, for then I will turn to the people of pure language, which is nothing new. Zephaniah 3:9 was not the first place in where you see the action of this concept. All right, let's keep going. Verse 2 says, and the king went up to the house of the Most High, and with him all the men of Yehuda or Judah, and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and the priests and the prophets, and all the people who both small and great. And he read in there, hearing all the words of the book of the covenant that had been found in the house of the Most High. They didn't have this, by the way. And the king stood by the pillar, Josiah, and made a covenant before the Most High. A lot of y'all can attest to this. Some of you all have done this. Some of you all are doing it now. Some of you all may do it in the future. Exactly what Josiah is doing right now. He said, and the king stood by the pillar and made a covenant before the Most High to walk after the Most High and to keep his commandments and his testimonies and his statutes with all his heart and all his soul, all his mind and all his being, to perform the words of this covenant that was written in this book. And all the people joined in the covenant. And the king commanded Hilkiah the high priest and the priests of the second order and the keepers of the threshold to bring out the temple of the Most High, all the vessels made by who? Made for Baal. We read that in Zephaniah chapter 1 through 6. If you have not, if you're just coming in now, go there and you'll see why I'm going here. All the vessels made for Baal, for Asherah, and for all the hosts of heaven. He burnt them outside Jerusalem in the fields of the Kidron and carried their ashes to Bethel. Look, a lot of us have pieces of the right way of serving the Most High. It's people that will go to the extreme like this. And when I say extreme, I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm saying that we're not seeing that today. We're seeing complacency and a bare minimum when it comes to serving the Most High. I'm not saying from a standpoint of, I want to make sure my words is right. I'm not saying from a standpoint of, okay, the acts of what we're supposed to do, how to keep Shabbat, right? A lot of us have different ways of keeping Shabbat and different understandings. But the extreme as to, if we see these things being done in front of us, we're not going to remove it. Some will say this is not the time for it. I will say it just depends on us. It depends on you. It's always a time for it. Now, in his defense, he's the king. He's removing it because he's in possession of this around him. He can do that. So that's the context there. But anything that you're in possession of, or in your home, you're the leader of your home or the leader of your organization and things of that nature, you are capable of doing something similar to this, but it has to align with scripture, not just something just to do because you're the leader. It has to make sense. And that's what we're losing today, because many of us, we don't have things set up culturally. Some people do. It's out there. But the majority of us don't. That's what we have to get back to, because when we have these congregations, or we have this setup of the people coming together, there needs to be a certain order. It can't just be one man, or some people might have one woman over everyone. It has to be a council that can hold this person accountable. Go back to the lesson I did last week and you'll see what I'm talking about. I don't want to revisit that right now. If you go back to the lesson I did last week as far as preserving, then you'll understand why I'm saying that's important. And that's the reason why many communities are failing. That's the reason why some churches in Christianity are failing, those that churches that's lasting is due to they may have some type of counsel that can hold that leader accountable. And I'm bringing it up now because this is in alignment with all the things we're reading in Zephaniah right now. All the things we're reading with the prophets and why they're going to the leaders, because those leaders are not holding the other leaders accountable. So let me keep going. All right. We're in verse 4, 2 Kings 23 and 4. Let's go to 5. Let me make sure that's where I want to go. Yes, we're going all the way to 11. So I hope you all are writing it down. 2 Kings 23, all the way to verse 11. We're in verse 5 right now. And he deposed the priests whom the kings of Judah had ordained to make offerings in the high places at the cities of Yehudah and around Jerusalem. Those also who burned incense to Baal, to the sun and the moon and the constellations and all the hosts of the heavens. Now, some of you all are looking like, man, I don't do this. But you may. And you may not even know that you're doing it. I'm challenging you to challenge yourself to really see what you're doing, how you're living, and how that applies to what we're reading. If you're someone that truly wants to serve the Most High Yah. So this does apply to us. All right? But this is still in connection to Zephaniah chapter 1. Right? And it's in connection to Deuteronomy 4 and 17, which we read. Verse 6, and he brought out the Asherah from the house of the Most High. They had it in the house of the Most High. Some of us have congregations, and we're doing things like this. We're having things in there that don't supposed to be there, and we don't understand that we do. Because we're complacent and we're not diligently pressing to be at a certain level with the Most High. This is directed more so to the leaders, than I'm saying. But it's directed to the people as well. Because the people will become the leaders one day. Those children of the man and a woman that may not doing it the right way will be the leaders of the future in Israel. All right. Verse 7, and he broke down the houses of the male coat prostitutes. All right, let me click this real quick. I know the word is Kadesh. Right here it says sodomites. But Kadesh, it lets you know that these males was doing stuff with each other too. Right? And Kadesha is the ladies, the women. But this doesn't speak on that per se right now. Let's keep going. Who were in the house of the Most High, where the women wove hangings for the Ashtoreth. And he bought all the priests out of the cities of Yehudah and destroyed them. Destroyed the high places where the priests had made offerings, from Geba to Beersheba. And he broke down the high places of the gates that were at the entrance of the gate of Yehoshua, Joshua, the governor of the city, which were on one's left at the gate of the city. However, the priests of the high places did not come up to the altar of Yah in Jerusalem, but they ate unleavened bread and among their brothers. And he defiled Topheth, which is the valley of the son of Hinnom, and no one might burn his son or his daughter as an offering to Molech. So he was removing the customs that these people was taking on. He was removing them. All right. And verse 11 says, and he removed the horses that the kings of Yehudah had dedicated to the sun. So we got these items that's dedicated to the sun. At the entrance of the house of the Most High, by the chamber of Nathan Melech, the chamberlain, which was in the precincts, and he burnt the chariots of the sun with fire. All right. Let's stop there for 1 second. We want to keep going. But I want to bring something out. Okay, we're not there yet. Okay, so In verse 11, we brought out the Kadesh, right, with these men. But I want to keep going. We're going to go down to 25. All right. And I want to show you something. All right. And the altars on the roof of the upper, verse 12, chamber of Ahaz, which the kings of Judah had made. So these are the kings making this. These are the priests making this. These are the leaders making this. They've been doing it since then in pre-exilic. They have been doing it post-exilic, right? So remember, the title is For Then I Will Turn to the People of Pure Language. Pure language, most of us are thinking words, speaking, right? Or, when you think of Spanish, German, like that type of language. But it's something that's different than just the surface, okay? So it says, which the kings of Judah had made, and the altars that Manasseh had made in the two courts of the house of the Most High. He pulled down and broke in pieces and cast the dust of them into the brook Kidron. We're going to keep reading this, you all. It's important to see how dedicated and why the Most High is saying this to and about Josiah. Verse 13, and the king defiled the high places that were east of Jerusalem, to the south of the Mount of Corruption, which Solomon, the king of Israel, had built for Ashtoreth, the abomination of the Sidonians. So one of our wisest kings at the time did this. This should say something. Never consider yourself to be 100% just wise, that you can never fail. Now, you can be less likely to fail if you are not complacent in your position with the Most High. You have to keep striving to challenge yourself and be better and test if you are truly serving Him, if you are truly keeping the commandments and the laws. And we say this commandments and laws and statutes, it's becoming as a coining as like a phrase, so we hear people say that all the time. But when I'm saying it from a standpoint of the music you heard us singing, man, my Ishah in the beginning of this platform, my people rising mentally, spiritually, and physically. And with that mentally and spiritually is dealing with how we treat each other. And the prophets, one of the major things that they're doing when they're talking to the leaders is because of how they're treating the people, how they're causing them to fail, how they're misusing them, how they're taking advantage of them. That is the understanding, or that is understanding what law is, what the commandments are. It's not just a coined phrase that we're hearing everyone say, and a lot of us are saying it are not even doing it. Last week's lesson on preserving your words is the biggest part of the commandments, right? What I mean, bearing false witness, right? Sitting up here speaking before you should be speaking. Those are the laws. So we can talk about commandments and laws and all that stuff all we want, but are we really doing it? No, most of us aren't. And the crazy thing about it is it's in our history book, which means we're not really reading. We're not soaking it in. We're not saturating ourselves with it. We're not allowing it to prick our mind and our spirit. Because if it did, the number two things that the Most High cares about out of all of these things that we're reading about is how we serve the Most High and how we serve one another. That's it. Let's keep going. Verse 13, and the king defiled the high places that were east of Jerusalem to the south of the Mount Corruption, which Shlomo, or Solomon, the king of Israel, had built of Ashtoreth, the abomination of the Sidonians, and for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, and for Milcom, the abomination of Ammonites. Remember, in Zephaniah chapter 1, it said that they had one foot in with the Most High and one foot in with Milcom. All this is connected, y'all. Verse 14 says, and he broke in pieces the pillars and cut down the Asherim and filled their places with the bones of men. That means he was off with their head. Moreover, the altar of Bethel, the high place erected by Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin. In that altar with the high place, he pulled down and burned, reducing it to dust. He also burned the Asherah. And as Josiah turned, he saw the tombs there on the mount. Watch this. And he sent and took the bones out of the tombs and burnt them on the altar and defiled or destroyed it, according to the word of the Most High that the man of Elohim proclaimed, who had predicted these things. Wait a minute. So now we're getting somewhere. These things was prophesied before he was born. Before Josiah was born, a few hundred years before he was born. But I'm going to show you that in 1 second. Who had predicted these things. Verse 17 says, then he said, what is that monument that I see? And the men of the city told him, it is the tomb of the man of Elohim who came from Yehuda and predicted these things that you have done against the altar at Bethel. And we're going to go read it really quick. But verse 18, watch this. And he said, let him be. Don't touch him. Don't touch his bones. This sounds so familiar. Remember Dawid? Dawid had every right to defend himself, technically, because he did nothing wrong. But he will not touch Saul, even though he was ordained to be the next king. He didn't touch Saul because you should not touch those who are ordained of the Most High. Presently, previously, or futuristically. Now, previously, what does that mean? That doesn't mean that you may not have, that doesn't mean that you may have something that's bothering you in regards to them, or you may not talk with them, or you may want to part ways, or you may want to, you may say some truth when talking with them about whatever situation it might be. But what you want to be careful with doing is talking bad about them to other people and things that are not true and things that's outside of you and things that has nothing to do with you. And if it is something that you're talking about yourself, your approach is everything, because this man or woman still can be an ordained individual of the Most High in some capacity. We're seeing these examples through our forefathers and foremothers on how to operate with those prior before. And it's a reason I'm bringing this up, because we're going to see something that took place with this man of the Most High. He said, let him be, let no man move his bones. So they let his bones alone, with the bones of the prophet who came out of Samaria. Wait, who is this individual? Let's find out real quick. We're going to go to 1 Kings chapter 13, verse 2. And then we're going to read 11 through 32. I'm going to try to swiftly go through that, but I want to connect something to what he just said. He said, let him be. He's talking about the person that predicted him or prophesied about him. Don't touch his bones. And then he said, let the other person with the bones of the prophet who came out of Samaria. So it was a second individual. All right. 1 Kings chapter, what chapter did I say? 1 Kings chapter 13. This thing is slow. I'm sorry, you all. Forgive me. For those that's tuning in right now, please make sure that you like. If you haven't, make sure that you share. I said 13, correct? Okay. All right. All right. Verse 2. Let's start at verse 1. 1 Kings chapter 13, verse 1 says, and behold, a man of Elohim. They don't even tell us the name of this man. A man of Elohim came out of Yehuda by the word of Yah to Bethel. Jeroboam was standing by the altar to make offerings. All right. And the man cried against the altar by the word of the Most High and said, O altar, altar, thus says the Most High, behold, a son shall be born to the house of David. Guess what that son is? Josiah by name. And he shall destroy, some translations may say sacrifice, on you the priests of the high places, who make offerings on you, and human bones shall be burned on you. All right. And he gave a sign the same day, saying, this is the sign that the Most High has spoken, and behold, the altar shall be torn down, and the ashes that are on it shall be poured out. So this is the man of Elohim, which those that was with him told him about. These are the bones of that man who predicted or prophesied about you. And this is what he said. So he said, don't touch those bones, because this individual was anointed by the Most High. But watch this, though. Let's jump down to verse 11. And it says, and this is important. All of this is connected. This is important. This is important. Now an old prophet lived in Bethel, and his sons came and told him all that the man of Elohim had done that day in Bethel. They also told to their father the words that he had spoken to the king. And their father said to them, which way did he go? And his sons showed him the way. The man of Elohim, who came from Yehuda, had gone. And he said to his sons, saddle the donkey for me. So they saddled the donkey for him, and he mounted it. And he went after the man of Elohim and found him sitting under an oak. And he said to them, are you the man of Elohim who came from Yehuda? And he said, I am. Then he said to him, come home with me and eat bread. And he said, I may not return with you or go in with you. Neither will I eat bread nor drink water with you in this place. Because this was a commandment that was given to him. This is something that he was not supposed to do. Verse 17, for it was said to me by the word of Yah, you should neither eat bread nor drink water there, nor return by the way that you came. So it was an instruction gave to him on what he's supposed to do. But this other prophet was telling him, man, come on, you could come. You can do what I'm telling you to do. I'm seeing that this is what you come this way. I'm telling you, those of you men and women alike that are moved by the Most High to do certain things, and if it is not harming or hurting anyone, do what you're told. And even if it is harming or hurting someone, do what you're told by the Most High. And I mean that. When I say harming or hurting, that doesn't mean you're intentionally doing that, because sometimes what you have to do may hurt that individual, because that's what the Most High wants to be done. This was a man of Elohim. A man of Elohim. And the instruction was given to him that he knew not to do. But let's see what happens. 17, for it was said to me by the word of Yah, you shall neither eat bread nor drink water there, nor return by the way that you came. Don't go back there. And he said to him, I also am a prophet, as you are. I also am a teacher, as you are. I also am this, as you are. So since I am, then what I'm saying has to be true. No, it does not. It does not. Sometimes the only things that are similar is that both of you are pressing to serve the Most High, the Supreme King. But both of you are not told to do the same thing on your journey and on your path. But sometimes one of you are not told that. So you're going to think that that is the case. That's the case, that this person, these individuals are supposed to move like this. That is not the case. We can't be that arrogant. We have to. I have a thing. It's a couple individuals I take my head off to, and I mimic that. I mimic that before meeting them, and that's probably why I was drawn to them but I want to continue mimicking it. With people that you don't know, other teachers that you do not know, you should always assume that they know until they show you that they don't know. Assume, Chief Prince Zabulin, far beyond where I'm at. He always assumes that I know. And a lot of times I'm like, I don't know that. But you got to assume it. My in-law, from my experience of what we went through, assumes that I know. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know. But that is the reverence or the respect that we should have for one another, being men and women of the Most High. I mean, true men and women of the Most High. We should have that respect and understanding that it may be things that I know and it may be things that you know, and both of us may not know the same thing, but we still have to respect one another. Right? So in this instance, let's keep going. He said to him, I also am a prophet as you are, and an angel spoke to me by the word of Yah, saying, bring him back with you into your house that he may eat bread and drink water. But he lied to him. If you are a man or woman of the Most High, and you are doing this path correctly, and the Most High is leading you in a direction and the skills that he has given you, whatever it may be, stay that path. Do what you're supposed to do in a moment, but stay that path. If it's not told to you, more than likely, I'm talking about a true man of the Most High and a true woman of the Most High, by the way, because everyone that says they are not. Because they'll do what this prophet did, which was lied. You got to have discernment, and you have to understand the consistency of the path that the Most High has given you. And you also got to make sure that you're consistent and not complacent in that path that the Most High has given you. Because you'll be doing the same thing that this prophet did to this man of the Most High. Let's keep going. I'm going to read it again. And he said to him, I also am a prophet as you are. And an angel spoke to me. This sounds like the story of Job. When the three men, it was actually four, but three men came to comfort Job. And in chapter 2, chapter 3, he said that a spirit came among me and told me that the Most High doesn't trust his servants or his malachim, his angels. What? And this was an elder. This was an elder that was respected amongst his people in his region. Sometimes we get so arrogant, men and women alike, that we start saying that the Most High is saying something to us that is not true. Because things are going well in our lives, or things are going in the direction that we're hoping. Whatever it might be, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure it out myself. But I do know one thing. We get to a point where we believe that we know and we don't know. And then we lie and say that the Most High said it. All of this plays a part in what the prophets is trying to bring to the leaders and the people. What I'm saying right now. Verse 19. We're almost done with this chapter. We're going to go back to Zephaniah soon because I don't want to leave that. All right. Verse 19, 1 Kings 13 and 19 says, so he went back with him and he ate bread in his house and drank water. So he didn't even say, hold on, I'll be back to you. I got to pray on it. Everything I would say don't need to be prayed on, especially if you're a man and a woman of the Most High. We see that with Elisha. Elisha was doing things he didn't even have to go and pray before the Most High, and it was getting done because he knew. But in this instance, the Most High has told you already what to do. All right, let me go pray on this and inquire of the Most High to see if this is what the Most High, did something shift? And if it didn't, don't go that way. But he did. He went that way because he heard the word that I am also a prophet. That means nothing. I am a teacher. That means nothing. It means something. Prophet doesn't mean nothing, but it does mean something. I want to make sure I'm clear in what I'm saying. All these titles do mean something. It means you are supposed to be walking in this office in some capacity, not in some capacity, in full capacity. And you need to be moving through the Most High and focus on truly serving. I mean, truly, not solely for your benefit. So when I say it doesn't mean anything, in matters like this, you always got to go and pray and get confirmation through the Most High, because that person can be off. That person could be off on purpose, or that person could be off ignorantly because they have been so right about everything else, which does not mean they're going to be right about this matter. All right. Verse 19. So he went back with him and ate bread in his house and drank water. Right. Verse 20. And as they sat at the table, the word of the Most High came to the prophet who had brought him back. Now, see, this shows you that he was a real prophet, but he lied. If you're going to be in any office of whatever capacity, whether you're Christian and you're a pastor, whether you're Hebrew and you are a prince, a chief, a mora, all the princess, all this stuff, be consistent all the time. You are that all the time. And that's what our problem is back then, and that's what our problem is now. We're not that all the time. Verse 21. And he cried to the man of Elohim who came from Yehuda. Wait, did I skip something? Okay, 20 says, and as they sat at the table, the word of the Most High came to the prophet who had brought him back. And he cried to the man of Elohim who came to Yehuda. Thus says the Most High, because you have disobeyed my word. Man, they had to throw the man of the Most High off, because he wasn't thinking on how he was supposed to be moving to begin with. This had to throw him off. This man first said that you're supposed to come to me. This was told to me. And he just listened to him because he was a prophet. And then he went there to eat and everything. Now the Most High actually talked to this other prophet and gave him a word to go to the man of the Most High. Notice it didn't say that this prophet was a man of Elohim. Did y'all notice that? Did y'all notice in this chapter, it did not call this prophet a man of the Most High, but it called this other man the man of the Most High. Pay attention. Pay attention. A title, a position does not mean that this woman or this man is a man of the Most High. But this position still opens the door of the Most High dealing with you, right? Let's keep going. It says in 21, and he cried out to the man of the Most High who came from Judah. Thus says the Most High, because you have disobeyed the word of Yah and have not kept the command that the Most High, your Elohim, commanded you, but have come back and have eaten bread and drunk water in the place of which he said to you, eat no bread and drink no water, your bodies shall not come to the tomb of your fathers. And after he had eaten bread and drunk, he saddled the donkey for the prophet who had brought him back. And as he went away, a lion met him on the road and killed him. And his body was thrown in the road, and a donkey stood beside it. And the lion also stood beside the body. Man, y'all better stand firm on what the Most High is showing and directing you. If you don't, something can happen to you, maybe, probably. He didn't listen in the direction where he wasn't supposed to go. He listened to another prophet that was not a man of the Most High, according to what we're reading. I may be throwing that in there because he could be a man of the Most High. He was a prophet, though. But it didn't call him that. It called the other individual a man of the Most High. He listened to him, and now he got eaten by a lion. Now he's eaten by a lion because he listened. This is going forward. Now, it has happened in the past, as we're reading, it's going to continue to happen until we get individuals, men and women alike, leaders, to stay consistent on their path, respect their contemporaries, and challenge the people properly. Not only through our words, but through our actions. All right. Let's keep going. Verse 25. And behold, men passed by and saw the body thrown in the road, and the lion standing by the body. And they came and told it in the city where the old prophet lived. And when the prophet who had brought him back from the way heard of it, he said, it is the man of Elohim who disobeyed the word of the Most High. Therefore, the Most High has given him to the lion, which has torn him and killed him, according to the word that the Most High spoke to him. And he said to his sons, saddle the donkey for me. And they saddled it. And he went and found his body thrown in the road, and the donkey and the lion standing beside the body. The lion had not eaten the body or torn the donkey. And the prophet took up the body for the band of Elohim and laid it on a donkey and brought it back to the city to mourn and to bury him. And he laid the body in his own grave, and they mourned over him, saying, alas, my brother. And after he had buried him, he said to his sons, when I die, bury me in the grave in which the man of Elohim is buried. Lay my bones beside his bones. So this is what Josiah was told by his priests, that these two bones were together, right? For 32, for the saying that he called out by the word of Yah against the altar in Bethel and against all the houses of the high places that are in the cities of Samaria shall surely come to pass. All right. So I just wanted to go back there, give you some context of what Josiah was bringing out. And he did not destroy those bones, even though one of the prophets lied, and caused this man of Elohim to do this, or influenced him, I should say. He really didn't cause him. He decided to. He could have inquired of the Most High to confirm it. And I know it's easier said than done. We can all speak on matters because we're reading the story, but this history is for us to know what not to do going forward. And granted, they didn't have the book of Devarim too. Deuteronomy chapter 1 is heavy. All right. So let's go ahead and go. We're going to go to Jeremiah now. We're going to get back to Zephaniah, you all, but I'm doing this for a reason. Okay? I'm doing this for a reason. So, remember I told you as far as Huldah, the prophetess, that was in the time of Zephaniah, right? She was alongside that time frame. Then I mentioned Habakkuk, right? Habakkuk, that's a hard name to say. And then Jeremiah too, Yirmiyahu. Their messages are similar. And I wanted to go touch base on this because we got to get to, for then I will turn to the people of pure language. We have to tie all these things together. So let's go to Jeremiah 19, and then we're going to go back to Zephaniah. We're going to Jeremiah chapter 19, verses 13 through 15. All right? Jeremiah. Oh, yeah. I feel like I missed. There we go. Jeremiah chapter 19, I said. Okay. Jeremiah chapter 19. And we're going to read 13 through 15, you all. We're going to read 13 through 15. If you haven't yet, make sure you go and you like on YouTube. Hopefully you all are on YouTube watching. If you're not on YouTube and you're on Facebook, just type in Beit Ma'azan Network. BAY. It's the same as our Facebook page, Beit Ma'azan, and you just add network in there, and you'll be able to come and subscribe to our Facebook. Our YouTube. All right. So we're going to verse 13 right here. Jeremiah 19 and 13. And watch this. The houses of Jerusalem and the houses of the kings of Yehuda, all the houses on whose roofs offerings have been offered to all the hosts of heaven. Zephaniah is speaking of this same thing. Jeremiah is speaking of this same thing. We saw that in the time of Josiah, he was speaking and brought this same information that Huldah, the prophetess, gave him. The same thing. And drink offerings have been poured out to other mighty ones, shall be defiled or destroyed like the place of Tophet. Then Jeremiah came from Tophet where the Most High had sent him to prophesy, and he stood in the court of the Most High's house and said to all the people, watch this, y'all. Thus says the Most High of hosts, the Most High of Israel, behold, I am bringing upon the city and upon all its towns all the disaster that I have pronounced against it, because they have stiffened their neck, refusing to hear my words. Deuteronomy speaks on us being a stiff-necked people. I think Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 16. And we won't hear the words. Remember, for then I will turn to the people a pure language. That's in Zephaniah. So I wanted to bring that in. And also for those that's trying to study a little bit to get an idea of how these individuals are contemporaries as far as being in the same time frame or around the same time period, and why this message was so important, and how the Most High was using them and trying to warn them going before the Babylonian exile period, trying to warn them the same way that after the post-exilic period, the Most High is trying to warn them being the leaders first. The same way today in 2025, where there are men and some women trying to warn us the same way. All right. But we're going to tackle this, for then I will turn the people to a pure language. Let's go back to Zephaniah. Now we're going to stay in Zephaniah for a while. We're about to go to Zephaniah chapter 1 again. And we're going to read and start at verses 7 through 11, you all. Jeremiah chapter 1, and we're starting at verse 7. Not Jeremiah, I'm sorry, y'all. Zephaniah. Please forgive me. Zephaniah chapter 1, and we're starting at verse 7. Please, you all, if you haven't, make sure you share this. And if you're just coming in now, you have to start from the beginning. You have to start from the beginning. So keep going with us right now. And then when you get a chance, start from the beginning so you can get the full context. All right. Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 7. And confirm that's where I'm at. I got to make sure I get the other screen next time. All right. Verse 7 says, be silent before the Most High, Elohim, for the day of the Most High is near. The Most High has prepared a sacrifice and consecrated his guests. And on the day of the Most High sacrifice, I will punish the officials and the king's sons and all who array themselves in foreign attire. I won't go in that direction, right? But that foreign attire is, I'll say this: what you wear is what you are. What you wear is what you are, in a sense. You know, you can't fully be cultural if what you're wearing and how your presentation is not in alignment. So I will punish the officials and the king's sons and all who array themselves in foreign attire. All right. Most High is trying to prevent us from being acclimated with those that are outside of our customs and our laws. Because once we starting with a tire, then we begin with our actions, and now we're starting to pollute our seed, pollute those that we are going to create, our children. They're going to start falling into the same arena of those that's outside of us. We're supposed to be a light to those outside of us, not those outside of us supposed to be a light to us. All right. On that day, I will punish everyone who leaps over the threshold, and those who fill their master's house with violence and fraud. Some will say master's house is dealing with those that was lording over individuals, and it's another school of thought that's believing this master to be the Most High. Right. On that day declares Yah, a cry will be heard from the fish gate, a wall from the second quarter, a loud crash from the hills. Watch this. Wail, O inhabitants of the mortar, for all the traitors are no traders, not traders. Traders are no more. All who weigh out silver are cut off, right? So let's click on this really quick. So the mortar, like the merchants, all right? The mortar are the merchants, okay? And these merchants were exploiting the people and the poor, being dishonest, bringing dishonest practices. This still relates to my lesson last week on Shabbat, preserving your words, okay? These individuals are going to face judgment. So that's what's happening right now in this verse. They're going to face judgment. The rich who have become corrupt for gain, they're going to face judgment. They're going to be cut off, right? Remember, Shaul was cut off, but he still was reigning. At least he understood that his position was about to be taken. But a lot of us today, and those then, didn't understand that their position was going to be taken, even when somebody was bringing it to them. They didn't understand that. And this same thing is going to be constant. It's going to continue going. All right. We're going to keep going down. We're going to keep reading. At that time, I will search Jerusalem with lamps, and I will punish the men who are complacent. Remember, I was speaking on that. He's going to punish the men who are complacent, those who say in their hearts, the Most High will not do good, nor will he do ill. So what's making them complacent? Because they're not teaching the people to serve the Most High properly. That's what's making them complacent. The Most High will not do good. I don't believe they're saying he ain't going to do good, or he's not going to do ill. They're not teaching the people that the Most High will is balanced in his actions towards us if we are not serving him properly. Making good evil and evil good. They're not being balanced. They're not bringing the true word of the Most High out. So he's going to punish those being complacent. Remember the story of Eli. He was complacent with his sons. He didn't bring and he didn't reprimand them. He didn't do any of that. He was complacent. May the Most High, have mercy on him. But he was complacent with his sons who was doing evil to the people, to the women. We see that today. That's why a lot of our youth that were a part of this walk are pulling back because of the leaders. They're complacent. We're complacent. And the Most High is going to punish those of us that are complacent with his people. All right. Verse 13, Zephaniah 1 says, their goods shall be plundered and their houses laid waste. Though they build houses, they should not inhabit them. Though they plant vineyards, they shall not drink wine from them. We better make sure that we actually serving this supreme king the proper way. Sometimes we're thinking that we're making strides and we are doing great things. Most High allowing us to think that. Most High is allowing us to think that. But when the fruit is not bearing, and it's a long period of it not bearing, then we got to go back to the drawing board and see before it's too late. Verse 14. The great day of the Most High is near and hastening fast. The sound of the day of the Most High is bitter. The mighty man cries out aloud there. And a day of wrath is that day, a day of distress and anguish, a day of ruin and devastation. All this stuff seems so dark, right? A day of darkness and gloom, a day of clouds and thick darkness. But this stuff is important. These are the things that we're not speaking of. We're speaking of all this prosperity, but we're not speaking of this. And those of us that are speaking of this, we're not producing solutions. We're not producing solutions that's a benefit to the people. And the solutions I'm speaking of is mostly that's going to change our mind and our spirit. It's the reason I always say spiritually, mentally, and physically. I don't even say financially. I leave that to everybody else, because many of us have finances. Many of us have cars and homes. Many of us are at good paid jobs, but our lives are not in alignment with the Most High. Our relationships are failing. So many different things. So that's why I focus on those three. I let everybody else focus on the finances. It's not that I'm removing it. It's important. We need the money. We need that. But a lot of us have it, and we're failing in everything else. All right, 16 says, in a day of trumpet blast and battle cry against the fortified cities and against the lofty battlements, I will bring distress on mankind, so that they shall walk like the blind, because they have sinned against the Most High. Their blood shall be poured out like dust, and their flesh like dung. Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them on a day of the wrath of the Most High. This is what I'm saying about the finances. We need it, but it's not going to deliver us. That's why people are taking their lives and going through depression, even if they have money, because it's not delivering us mentally and spiritually in the way that we need to thrive as a people. And for us to, we had a platform last night called, if you go back yesterday, we come on every other Friday, every other Yom Shishi, for Love and Balance talk sessions. And the title was No Fathers, No Future. And it had I can't think of the remainder of the topic, but no fathers, no future, right? So why am I bringing it up? The future is something that is sustainable. It continues, and your future is your children, right? And if your children is not equipped mentally and spiritually in serving the Most High properly and serving each other, then this thing that we're trying to do in this walk is not going to be sustainable. The future is not going to be there. It's going to keep crumbling. We're going to have to keep starting over and over. And we're going to keep getting these remnant, men and women, that have to be the first generation of their family and trying to serve the Most High properly. Because we're focused on this silver and gold. That's the main focus. All right, you all. Let's go to chapter 2. These next 2 chapters are short, so we're almost done. But we're about to get to that Zephaniah 3 and 9, right? So we're in Zephaniah chapter 2 right now. We're going to read 1 through 13 and then finish the chapter as well. But I want to bring a point out, okay? For those that's tuning in, let me look at some of the comments really quickly. All right, Karen, that puts the focus on the key areas we should be concerned with. Great point. Toda for your comments. And those that's tuning in that may not be commenting, please leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts. You may be on Facebook too. I have some notifications on Facebook. So if you're there, I will go back and check it not right now, but once I'm done. But I do appreciate you tuning in for the lesson. If you think that the lesson is good, and beneficial for our people, mentally, spiritually, physically, please share it to them. Let them start from the beginning, because I believe these points is really important. And then the understanding of what a pure language really is. We could get away from thinking that the Most High is about to give us a new Hebrew language. And I'm not knocking that concept or that thought process. I'm trying to really just highlight the parts that I believe is truly the pure language that the Most High is speaking of, and we're going to see that. So let's keep reading. Verse 1 says, gather together. Yes, gather, O shameless nation. Right? So we have no shame. We have no shame. And it falls on the leaders first. Elders, leaders first. Of course, it's dealing with the people, but we are a nation that's becoming shameless or been shameless. Before the decree takes effect, before the day passes away like chaff, before there comes upon you the burning anger of the Most High, before there comes upon you the day of the anger of the Most High, seek Yah. Watch this though. Seek Yah, all you humble of the land. That means everyone's not humble. Even those of us that believe we are have no humility. And we're not able to see those that are humble, those of us that believe we are and we aren't. We're not able to see that. But the Most High is trying to point something out. Point something and direct those that's going to, that keeps that love and that connection with the Most High. A covenant is what he made of old, so he's not going to change because of the covenant that he made. That's what Malachi is really talking about. He does not change because of that covenant. It's for the sake of that covenant that we're still here. That promise he made with our forefathers. That's why he didn't change. But he keeps telling us, right? For then I will turn to the people of pure language. He has been telling us this way back when, right? We read that in 2 Chronicles when it tells us to be humble. We read that in Isaiah 1 when he tells us to be humble. Now he's saying here in Zephaniah 2 and 3, seek the Most High, all you humble of the land, who does his just commands, who seeks righteousness, seek humility. Perhaps you may be hidden on a day of the anger of the Most High, because that ain't even guaranteed. You may still be saved spiritually, right? But you may still go through what everyone else is going through. But keep seeking those that are humble, those that understand these things. Keep seeking, because perhaps you may be, or everyone else isn't. For Gaza shall be deserted. Some people may think this Gaza is talking about what's happening right now, Palestine and all this stuff. And I'm not here to talk about that right now, just here to read, because this is some context with this in this time. And, we could try to point to the Gaza of this time today, 2025, but that's not what this topic is about, but we'll keep reading. For Gaza shall be deserted, and Ashkelon shall become a desolation. Ashdod's people shall be driven out at noon, and Ekron shall be uprooted. Woe to you, inhabitants of the sea coast, you nation of the Cherethites. The word of the Most High is against you, O Canaan, land of the Philistines, and I will destroy you until no inhabitant is left. These individuals was a problem for us back then. And you, O sea coast, verse 6, shall be pastures with meadows for shepherds and folds for flocks. The sea coast shall become the possession of the remnant of the house of Judah. The sea coast shall become the possession of the remnant, those that are left over, those that survive of Judah, and which they shall get graze, and in the houses of Ashkelon they shall lie down at evening. For the Most High, their Elohim, will be mindful for them and restore their fortunes. The remnant of the remnant. Why do I always say that? Because Israel itself is supposed to be a remnant to the world. But the remnant of the remnant are those that truly seek the Most High. Those are the prophets that we're seeing. Those are the righteous men and women of the Most High that we've read in our history. They are the remnant of the remnant. Some of you may be the remnant of the remnant, but pray that you are. But many of you are not. All right. Let me see where I wanted to stop at. Let me see where I wanted to stop at. 13. Oh, okay. We want to go to 13. Here we go. Now, this is so important right here. Let me pull it up. Verse 8. I have heard the taunts of Moab and the revilings of the Ammonites, how they have taunted my people and made boasts against their territory. So they've been messing with us as a people back then. That's the context. Therefore, as I live, declares the Most High of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, Moab shall become like Sodom, and the Ammonites like Gomorrah, and a land possessed by nettles and salt pits, and a waste forever. Watch this. We almost there. The remnant of the people shall plunder them, and the survivors of my nation shall possess them. And this shall be their lot in return of their pride, because they taunted and boasted against the people of Yah of hosts. Do you think that only stops with those that's outside of us? If you're taunting and boasting against the people of Yah, and you are supposed to be the people of Yah, this can happen to you too. We got to be humble, seek to be humble. We have to. Verse 11, 13 is the point that I want to bring out. Verse 11, the Most High Yah will be awesome against them, for he will famish all the mighty ones of the earth, and to him shall bow down. To him shall bow down, each in its place, all the lands of the nations. You also, O Cushites, shall be slain by the sword, and he will stretch out his hand against the north and destroy Assyria, and he will make Nineveh, or Nineveh is what I want to say, Nineveh, a desolation, a dry waste like the desert. Wait a minute, y'all. Wait a minute. Now, you all know about Nineveh or Nineveh. They repented in Jonah's days. But guess what happened? They fell back in wickedness. They became arrogant and cruel to the people. And then idolatrous ways came back again. So now you see Zephaniah is fulfilling a prophecy that is going to happen to them. And if I'm not mistaken, it's going to happen some years after this. Why am I bringing that up? We could repent all we want, but repent really means to turn away from it, don't return. But the scripture brings out of them repenting. So that lets me know that it doesn't stop there. You can repent and then return right back to it. Even though repenting is supposed to mean turning away from it, never returning. So they repented and they went back into doing the very things that they repented from and fasted from and things like that. This is why it's important for us to be careful, is what the scripture in Devarim and Deuteronomy told us to do. Be careful. And as last week when I was reading, preserve yourself. Preserve, which means it's going to take work. You need to be doing this all the time. You have to be intentional all the time. I say this with basketball a lot. I say, how is it that, and I said this yesterday too, how is it that the greatest players in the world have to practice every day? Why are they practicing every day? They're the greatest in the world. It's for them to stay fresh in their craft, stay consistent, stay accountable so they won't gain weight, so they won't lose their touch, so they won't, even though they're the greatest in the world. These people was forgiven by the Most High. They repented, they fasted, they did all of those things, but they didn't stay consistent. They didn't work on those areas that they needed to work on to get better, to strengthen themselves so they won't fall back into what it is they failed at. These things are important. All right, let's go ahead and go to I'll keep reading. We got a couple more verses. Herds shall lie down, verse 14. We got 2 verses left. Down in her midst, all kinds of beasts, even the owl and the hedgehog, shall lodge in her capitals. A voice shall hoot in the window. Devastation will be on the threshold for her. Cedar work will be laid bare. This is the exultant city that lived securely, that said in her heart, I am, and there is no one else. What a desolation she has become. A lair of wild beasts. Everyone who passes by her hisses and snakes his fists. I think it's important, that last part. It said, this is an exultant city that lived securely. They were secure about themselves, right? They were secure. They was complacent. Keep working, y'all. But they was complacent. And they said this in their heart, in their thoughts, right? I am, and there is no one else. I am, and there is no one else. There is always someone else. Elijah thought he was the only prophet. They were at one point. Most I had to let them know there's always someone else. There are contemporaries among you. You are not the greatest, whatever you think you are. None of us are. Humble ourselves. Understand there are people that are younger than you that can be greater than you. Understand there are people that's older than you that can be greater than you. Ask the 3 individuals who was told in Eob in the last chapter, right? Ask them. The young one wasn't spoken about. The older ones were. This is not a competition that I'm bringing out. What I'm trying to say is, it says in verse 15, they said, I am, and there is no one else. There is always someone else, because life goes on. All right, last chapter, y'all. We got to go to the infamous chapter that everyone uses. All right, let me make sure I don't need to go somewhere else. All right, we're going right into Zephaniah now, you all. We're almost done. Last chapter. Appreciate y'all tuning in. I hope you all are sharing it, liking it. I hope you all are appreciating this message. I will be presenting something at the end of this lesson. I will be presenting something at the end of this lesson. I think is very important. All right, here we go. Woe to her, verse 1 in chapter 3 of Zephaniah. Woe to her who is rebellious and defiled, the oppressing city. Rebellious. I bet you many of us do not believe that we are rebellious. And then we only want to attach being rebellious to the laws that we understand and see. Rebellion is deeper than that. That's why the Most High says, circumcise your mind, your heart. These laws and commandments was before the people. They know it. They knew it. But they weren't living it. They were being rebellious. All right. Zephaniah 3:2 says, she listens to no voice. She accepts no correction. She does not trust in Yah. She does not draw near to her Elohim. Her officials within her are roaring lions. Her judges are evening wolves that leave nothing to the morning. Right? So those that are in charge are roaring lions. The judges of her are wolves to the people. Her prophets are fickle, right? They have no substance. They sometimey, as we saw with the prophet that dealt with the man of Elohim. Treacherous men are they. Treacherous men are they. Her priests profane what is holy. That's not just items. They profane the people because the people are supposed to be holy. So the priests are profaning not only the things dealing with the temple, but the people as well. They do violence to the law. They destroy the law. They make it about them and what they want to do with that law. Now, granted, when I say this, because I don't want to clip what I'm saying, the law is holy. The law is separate, set apart for our betterment, for us to be in alignment with the Most High. But they're doing violence to the law, is what it says. All right, we almost there. We're in Zephaniah 3 right now. Verse 5, the Most High within her is righteous. So the Most High within her, being us, is righteous. He does no injustice. Every morning he shows forth his justice. Each dawn he does not fail, but the unjust knows no shame. Those that are unjust knows no shame. It's no shame in them. Even those of us that believe we're righteous and we're doing everything right, if we have no shame, there's a chance that you are really unjust. If you have no shame of certain things that may have happened in the past, even if you are someone that's consistent and truly righteous now, sometimes you may have a thought about, man, I could have did that better. So now that I know I could have did that better, I got to make sure that I apply it this way and show this to the world, being Israel and that being a light to everyone else. You're going to cause yourself to teach people verbatim, speaking wise, but then you're going to live it, truly live it. And remember, it's not about finances. We already went through that, because those that's harping on that are going to be, it just depends. It depends on them. I don't know their relationships truly with the Most High, so I can't speak on it. But what I can do is speak on what it said. We have to focus on the spiritual, mental, and that connection in regards to treating people and the Most High the right way. All right. Verse 6, I have cut off nations, their battlements, and are in ruins. I have laid waste their streets so that no one walks in them. Their cities have been made desolate, without a man, without an inhabitant. I said, verse 7, surely you will fear me, you will accept correction, then your dwelling will not be cut off according to all that I have appointed against you. But all the more they were eager to make all their deeds corrupt. In other words, he's given us the blueprint. He's given us the blueprint, but we're still figuring out a way to corrupt it. We're still figuring out gray areas to get around it. We did it back then. We're still doing it now. Now, if you're sincerely trying to serve the Most High, and it's just that you may not have the information, keep doing what you're doing. Most High is going to present it and reveal it to you, but don't ignore it if it's revealed to you. Just like Josiah, he didn't ignore it. He jumped on it when he saw it. This book they found, wait a minute, I missed this. This is what we need to do to serve this supreme king, the eternal source of all living, all things known and unknown. I'm going to do it. And that's what he did. All right. So I'm not talking about those that are trying and sincerely doing it and they're just lacking the understanding. But if you're lacking the understanding, keep pushing to gain the proper understanding. Verse 7 says, surely you fear me. Oh, we already read that part. Verse 8, watch this. No, let me read 7 again, because I need y'all to hear this. I said, surely you will fear me, you will accept correction. Then your dwelling will not be cut off according to all that I have appointed against you. But all the more they were eager to make all their deeds corrupt. So, in order to be on one accord, that will mean you will make those deeds righteous, because this is what I put before you to do. So you're not going to be corrupt. So that means we're going to be on one accord and we're going to be speaking one language. And that is consistent with our history. Read it and see how our prophets are steady trying to bring this to us. But let's keep going. Therefore, wait for me, declares Yah, for the day when I rise up to seize the prey. For my decision is to gather nations, to assemble kingdoms, to pour out upon them all indignation, all my burning anger. For in the fire of my jealousy, all the earth shall be consumed. Now watch this. For at that time, I will change the speech of the peoples, or for then I will turn the people a pure language, I think is what certain, what KJV say. I want to make sure I say it to what people are familiar. For then I will turn to the people a pure language, that they may all call upon the name of Yah, to serve with one accord, or one, what does KJV say? Consent. This is taught to say that it's going to be a pure Hebrew language. All right, this is what this is taught. The Hebrew that's now and all of that is not pure. This is what's going to be given to us. Okay, let's see if this is what it's actually saying, though. So for at that time I will change the speech of the peoples to a pure speech, that all of them may call upon the name of the Most High and serve him with one accord. Okay, let me make sure I don't want to go somewhere else right now. Just going to my notes to where I have the scripture written down. Okay, yeah. We're going to go to Zephaniah 14:9. Okay. We're going to go there. So Zephaniah 3:9, as I stated, it's not talking about an actual language, right? When you study the context, you will know what it's really speaking of. Now, the word is Safa, which can mean language or does mean language, but it also could mean speech. All right? It also could mean speech. And then when we go to this word right here, pure, it's two words for pure. What's a couple words for pure? One is tahor, for clean, but then you got barar, which I think is barur in the actual context. This is just the root, and it's letting you know it's cleanse, purify, polished, cleanse or make bright, right? Purge out. Let's see if I can roll back. Purify oneself. All right. All these synonyms is important to know when you're looking at this word. Okay, but I'm going to use the text to give you a clearer understanding of what Zephaniah 3:9 is saying. So it says, the speech of the peoples to a pure speech, right? Well, I will turn to the people a pure language. Let's go to Zephaniah 14:9. I mean, Zechariah 14:9. We're going to end back up at Zephaniah 3:9, you all. Zechariah 14:9. Zechariah 14:9 says, and the Most High will be king over all the earth. And that day, Yah will be one and his name one. All right. I just wanted to use that. We're going to come back to it. But remember, it says, on that day, Yah will be one and his name one when he is king of all the earth. Now, let's go to Habakkuk, and we're going to go to Jeremiah, because those two individuals were in the time of Zephaniah. So they're going to be very important in what Zephaniah 3:9 is actually saying. Okay, so let's go to Habakkuk 2:14. Okay, it's funny how it says the righteous should live by his faith. That concept has always been the case in our literature. I just want that to be understood. Here we go. 2:14. For the earth will be filled with knowledge of the glory of the Most High as the waters cover the sea. Now, I only went to this for a reason. Our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, is what it says, right? But they wasn't destroyed for knowledge as far as they wasn't given the information. They was destroyed as far as how to be one with the Most High and also one with the people themselves. That's why the prophets were sent to correct the leaders and the elders, because they was causing the people to be polluted. And in that same sense, you're building more leaders and prophets that are causing the people to mess up. Hence, why we got so many prophets that's being sent, bringing the same message. So everything was polluted. So we weren't one with the Most High and the people in general. Okay, so I'm bringing this out in what it said in 2:14 to say, for the earth will be filled with knowledge at this point of the glory of the Most High as the waters covers the sea. That's connected with Zechariah. Now, let's go deeper because that might not make sense to you. That might not be understood. No, it's still going to be given to us a new Hebrew language that everyone's going to speak. All right, let's see. Let's confirm that. Let's go to Jeremiah. And we're going to go to Jeremiah chapter 15. And we're going to read, start at verse 16, you all. At this point, we know Jeremiah is frustrated. Jeremiah was young, right? He was doing everything that he was asked to do at this point. So I hate that they say he's complaining right here. You know, this right here is not always true, you all, because the very next chapter, he starts to speak on something that his shift was different. I hate that they say Job was complaining. You know, we're looking at the surface, but the Most High said that what he was saying was right. I need you to go make it right with my servant Job, who you said that I don't trust servants in chapter 3 of Job. So we take these scriptures and we build off of what Christianity taught, by the way, and I'm not talking about those that's trying to serve the Most High. I'm talking about those that are over the literature and over the doctrines that a lot of us are going off of. So anyway, let's get to it because I know you all are waiting. We're almost done. Verse 16 says, your words were found and I ate them, and your words became to me. No, let's read 15 first. Oh, yeah, you know, remember me and visit me. I think that's important. I think when we're in prayer, we should ask the Most High to hear us, please. To remember me for my good is what Nehemiah says in Nehemiah chapter 8, I think. Remember me for my good. So he's telling him, and this is a constant thing, those men of the Most High and women knew this, the way that we spoke. We knew that when we leave each other, we'll say, because that was a commandment given to us, or a custom, a culture that we kept to always want the Most High present with you when you leave. May he bless you and guard you. And this saying right here, saying, remember me, is something that we did as well. Please remember me. Remember me for my good. So verse 15 says, oh yeah, you know, remember me and visit me and take vengeance for me on my persecutors. You know, now he was young. I like to look at what Moshe, the difference of Moshe and Jeremiah. Both loved their people. Jeremiah is saying, take vengeance on my persecutors because things happened to him. If y'all know the history. Moshe was a little different. He got on his knees before the people, prayed, asked the Most High on their behalf not to destroy them. He had one incident that messed him up. But he was frustrated. And he was frustrated too because if you look at the top of that chapter, his sister just died. And in our custom and culture, we mourned for our leaders. And she was technically a leader in Israel under the tutelage of Moshe and Aharon. But the scripture don't tell us nothing about them mourning for her. And in that same chapter, that's when he hit that rock instead of spoke to the rock. Frustration. Jeremiah is frustrated right now, but he's handling it different. Maybe due to his age, or maybe just due to mass frustration, just not being geared properly in the way of how to handle these matters. Moshe was a little different because he came from a military background in Israel. He had a little more oomph about him, I'm sure. So he knew that how people were. He knew what to expect of the people fully. And that's what we have to do. Even if you having differences with leaders, differences with your family, your friends, differences with those on your path, we have to know how to approach and understand that it's a remnant of a remnant. So we got to understand that some people are not equipped all the way on certain subjects. They may be less equipped and least equipped. That's least. I know, you'll correct me later. equipped than you are in this subject, but they may be more equipped in this subject. So it's your job to operate a certain way in this matter with them. Let them do that. So I'm not faulting him in what he's saying right here. But watch, if you go into other chapters going forward, you're going to see that he had a little moment. But let's keep reading, because we're trying to figure out why is Zephaniah 3:9 saying, for then I will turn to the people a pure language. Is this dealing with a new Hebrew language? He says, verse 15, vengeance for me on my persecutors. In your forbearance, take me not away. Know that for your sake I bear reproach. So I'm bearing this for you. They teach that he had a moment where he was gone. I don't agree with that. We've been given that for a minute, taught that through movies and stuff. But watch this. Your words were found and I ate them. And your words became to me a joy and the delight of my heart. For I am called by your name, O Yah, Elohim of hosts. Right? Your words were found and I ate them. Your words were found and I ate them. Remember that. Let's jump to 19. It says, therefore, thus says Yah, if you return, I will restore you, and you shall stand before me. If you utter what is precious and not what is worthless, you shall be as my mouth. They shall turn to you, but you shall not turn to them. I think it's important for us to look at that part. We're going to keep reading. But listen to what he said. Therefore, thus says Yah, if you return. Remember, the prophet's been trying to get the people to return forever. Been trying to get the leaders to return and treat them and teach them the right ways and the steps to go. He's saying, right, if you return, I will restore you. Hold on. For then I will turn to the people a pure language. Let's keep, if you return, I will restore you. Zephaniah 3:9. For then I will turn to the people a pure language. If you return, Jeremiah 15:19, I will restore you, and you shall stand before me. If you utter what is precious is what I give you to do and what to say, and that is pure. And not what is worthless, what we have been doing as Israel, as leaders, as teachers, as prophets, as priests, has been worthless. Then you should be as my mouth if you utter what is precious, what is pure. They should turn to you, but you should not turn to them. Let's keep reading. And I will make you to this people a fortified wall of bronze. They will fight against you, but they shall not prevail over you. For I am with you to save you and deliver you, declares Yah. I will deliver you out of the hand of the wicked and redeem you from the grasp of the ruthless. Remember, we're reading this part, because when we go back down to Zephaniah 3:10 and beyond, the context is going to matter. The context doesn't change on this subject. This context has been the same since before pre-exilic Israel, post-exilic Israel, 2025 Israel. This message is the same. The prophets are sent for the same reason, to get the people to understand how to move, how to speak, how to deal with the people, and how to deal with Yah. So this for then I will turn to the people a pure language is something that's said all the time. But it's still happening in that time. But let's keep going. We're going to go to, if that didn't make sense to y'all, we're going to go to one more place before we go back to Zephaniah 3. One more place, Isaiah chapter 6, verses 5-7. Isaiah chapter 6, watch this. Now, the word for language is safa. The word for language is safa. That's in Zephaniah 3:9. Remember that. Remember, he said a pure language, right? For then I will turn to the people of pure language. But what does Isaiah 6, 5-7 say? And I said, woe is me, for I am lost. This is Isaiah. Or Yeshayahu. For I am a man of unclean lips. So his lips is not pure right now. Are we talking about a language right here? I am a man of unclean language. Are we talking about that, y'all? Let me let that marinate for a second. Let me let that marinate. I want to marinate before we continue. Is he talking about a language? I'll let you all comment. Go ahead, comment. All right. So Hebrew is important. Zephaniah 3:9, that pure language. For then I will turn to the people of pure language is the word Safa. Let's see if right here Isaiah 6:5-7 is the same word. And I say, woe is me, for I am lost, for I am a man of unclean lips. Well, I can't press the button. There we go. I am a man of unclean lips. Uh-oh. Safa. Safa. For then I will turn to the people of pure language. Safa barur. But then he says right here, I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips, for my eyes have seen the King, Yah of hosts. I understand that we are not connected to the Most High as we should be. I understand that we are not, as the leaders, connected to the people as we should be. So what we're speaking, what we're doing is not clean or pure. Verse 6, then one of the seraphim flew to me, having in his hand a burning coal that he had taken with tongs from the altar. And he touched my mouth and said, behold, this has touched your lips, Safa. Your guilt is taken away and your sin is atoned for. So is this pure language really dealing with the ways in which we move? Because now, if we are moving that is conducive to the Most High and in alignment with the Most High, now we're pure with the Most High. Now we're pure with the Most High. Okay. Zakane, Elder, Arrow, appreciate you tuning in. I'm not sure how long you've been here, but you will have to go from the beginning of the lesson, whenever you get a chance, to see the points that I'm bringing out to show that Zephaniah 3:9 is not speaking of a new language, speaking wise. It's dealing with us and how we move and our connection with the Most High. We have not been consistent at all. We have not been pure at all as a people, as a whole. Right? There are people that are tamim, the scripture will say. Tamim wa shalim beleb le Yahweh, right? So there are people that are that. In this instance, we're about to go to Zephaniah 3 again. So we just finished that with Jeremiah or Isaiah. Now we're about to close it out, you all. We're about to close it out because we needed this context or this additional context to understand the consistency of what the prophets have been trying to bring this entire time. This entire time. This is not speaking of a new language. If people teach it, I'm not knocking it, because guess what? If you believe it's a new language that's going to be given to us, what I'm trying to teach is we got to change our actions and our ways in order to be connected with this thing that's going to be a new language. But let me prove it through the rest of the chapter, because the rest of the chapter is important. Let's go to verse 10. Let's read verse 9 again. For at that time I will change the speech of the peoples to a pure speech, that all of them may call upon the name and serve him in one accord. So, do we need a language to cause us to serve the Most High in one accord? Or do we need integrity? Do we need purity of heart? Do we need great character? Because remember, he said, circumcise your mind. We are stiff-necked. Do we need those things in order to serve on one accord with him? Watch this, though. From beyond the rivers of Cush, my worshipers, the daughter of my dispersed ones, shall bring my offering. On that day, you shall not be put to shame because of the deeds by which you have rebelled against me. For then I will remove from your midst your proudly exultant ones, and you shall no longer be haughty in my holy mountain. So guess what? When this happens, he's going to be removing people. So the language barrier part, if this was a language, a new language I'm going to give to you, so you could be one with me and on one accord. If this was simply a language it's talking about, then what is the point of removing out the midst your proudly exalted ones, and you should no longer be haughty in my holy mountain? They should have got the same treatment because they got the new language. But the consistency of the text shows that he has always removed them away, even all the way in Mount Sinai. He's always removed those who's a problem with Israel away. It got greater as the time continued, but he's always done that. These prophets that has been sent, they're sent for the purpose of regathering the people and giving them the understanding that Yah is telling us to have, and giving us the understanding how to serve him and how to serve each other. But let's keep reading. But I will leave in your midst a people humble and lowly. See, this is after Zephaniah 3:9. He's saying, but I will leave in your midst a people humble, right? Humble yourselves. Second Chronicles 7:14. Reason with me. In order to reason with me, you got to humble yourself. Isaiah 1. Job, the last chapter. Says y'all said something wrong about him, y'all got to go to him and ask for his forgiveness and have him pray on your behalf. You got to be humble. These things is the same teaching that has been told to us for thousands of years. Definitely, Zakane, Elder, is more than a language. But let's keep going. But I will, verse 12, but I will leave in your midst a people humble and lowly. They shall seek refuge in the name of Yah. Those who are left in Israel, they shall do no injustice and speak no lies and speak no lies. So now we know it's not language, because speaking a language doesn't make you not speak a lie. Your integrity, your character, your trust and love and submission in the Most High causes you not to speak a lie. Nor shall there be found in their mouth a deceitful tongue. A pure language. So it won't be a deceitful tongue. That's why took us to Isaiah. A deceitful tongue, deceitful tongue is not pure. Right? For they shall graze and lie down, and none shall make them afraid. All right. We're going to stop there, you all. We're going to stop there. I appreciate you all. I pray that you understood the purpose of this title, this lesson. For then I will turn to the people of pure language, right? The way for this pure language to be presented to us or to happen to us is we have to shift and we have to become humble. We have to do the things that the Most High is telling us to do, not the things that we feel just benefit us or makes us feel like we're serving the Most High properly, but the things that don't, all of it. Sometimes it's a process. Sometimes we got to continue to grow in this area, but grow in it. Keep doing the work. If you know you're someone that always talking bad about somebody with no solutions, stop doing it. Press to not do it. Press to not spread that around to the world, because that's truly loving your brother or sister that you call brother or sister. If it's something that happened to you, that was done towards you, your approach is still important. How you handle it is still important. If you are a leader, it's a lot more responsibility on your behalf. You can cause the people to stumble by how you present things in front of them, whether you're teaching or whether you're walking. That is what all these prophets is trying to bring out. That is what Zephaniah has brought out. This is what they're doing. They're trying to, as you just said, restoration of righteous character. That is the most important thing. So with that, I yield. I wanted to bring something out. I'm going to start this again. Toda, this is clarity for today. Amiyah. All praises and glory goes to the Most High for that. For those that have been supporting us and giving donations, we appreciate you for the ministry, Beit Mazah Ministries. Of course, don't give it on Shabbat. But I do want to show you all something really quickly that I'm going to show. Me and my Isha has created a community. I know some of you are familiar with Patreon. Some of you are familiar with Patreon. We have actually went somewhere else, and it's called Nazio. Nazio is another form of, not a form of Patreon, they're totally different, but it's similar to Patreon in that it allows you to create a community. And in this community, I'm trying to bring it up right now, so give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. There it is right there. Is this it? I don't think this is it. No, that's not it. In this community, oh, here it is. It allows a lot of things, right? You all know we do music. Those of you that's following us, you know we do music. And the purpose, did it come up yet? I don't know if it came up. The browser can't access your screen. Okay, if it doesn't come up, I'm just going to speak and tell you all about it. But I want to show you all really quickly. Appreciate you tuning in. Those that stayed with me this entire time, I definitely want to show you this though. All right, I'll just bring this up. If you go to our platform we had yesterday, I actually was able to bring it up. I don't know what's going on now. Okay, so I'm gonna keep this on the screen for a minute as I speak. So the purpose of the community that we created was we do have a few people that that donate to us, donate to the ministry that we have. And what we did is we created a community off of Nazio. And the benefit of the community, joining the community, is to get enlightened and empowered spiritually, as we're doing now, mentally and physically, through our music, to have discussions as we're having now, as well as lessons. And it also is going to be exclusive content for the community members, and much more. We're going to have mentorship, those that need mentoring. Some will say counseling, but we wanted to focus on the mentorship part because the counseling is going to be within it. But the mentorship is to cause us to have consistency on our journey. We're going to have prayer calls at least 3 times a week, and also dealing with health and nutrition. I'm a certified personal trainer of NASM. My Isha is really big on herbs and things of that nature. She's very knowledgeable in that area. We're going to have things dealing with like grieving. My Isha is going to head spear that, community for you all to be on there. And the link that I show right now, when you type that link in, it gives you a 14-day trial of the community. When we do music, one of the things with the music is, you all know we just released the album. The song that I played in the beginning of the lesson, I'm going to play it again so you all can hear it. That is now on all streaming platforms. But what's going to happen going forward is, in this community, we have group chats on WhatsApp that's connected to this as well. So those that join it, we're going to be allowing you to hear songs before we put it out. You'll get the album before we put it out. You're going to get songs that we're not releasing to the public at all. You will be able to put the order of the songs for our album. It's going to be a lot of different things. We have challenges in there. One of the things that me and my Ishai do, and one of the challenges that we actually put in the community, is when the Shabbat is still going on around 3 or 4 o'clock, sometimes even 5, we'll do a dry fast, no food or no water, and let that go into Sunday, 5 p.m., 3 p.m. or 5 p.m. And what that is more so like, throughout the week, we're doing a lot of working. For those of you, I hope that you're still like studying and reading and still connected to the Most High. But the Shabbat is for us to rest, right? More so spiritually, getting involved with the congregation that you may be a part of, or if you're tuning in to us, that you may be a part of, to really get your mind right and things like that. But the physical part, it's a lot of physical aspects or things that's really good for you that fasting does. So fasting is good for the spiritual aspect of it, but it's also good with the physical, the reset. So we're resetting ourselves with the week to come. So that's one of the challenges that we have in our community. It's a lot of things. It's too much to really talk about. And with joining it after the 14-day period, you have different tiers that you can do. You can do like a $20 a month if you wanted to contribute and help build and the community, or join our community if you want to be a part of Beth Mazan Ministries. And I wasn't able to show it to you, so I'm kind of going off the top. I wanted to kind of show you all so you can get a handle on it. A lot of the products that we may have, like I write books and other things. I teach Hebrew, conversational Hebrew. So we have some free things that we give to help your journey if you're trying to learn Hebrew. And the books that I have that I got on there is discounted versus on line with like Amazon, things like that. So it's a lot of things that we're going to do in this community. So for those that's interested, even if you just wanted to come in for the first 14 days and pull yourself out, go ahead and do that. We would love for you to come in there and join the community. It's https://nas.io Beit-Ma'azan-Ministries. You put the little question mark, discount code equals House of Balance 12, and then you'll be able to come up in there and just check it out and be a part of it. We think that this will be really good for those that's really searching for individuals that's really focusing on the community, man and woman, focusing on our balance as far as spiritually, mentally, and physically, and just trying to get around individuals that have a sincere love for the Most High and building their people. We want to also get the community to a point to where we can actually help people. So the donations, that the tier that you may be a part of, that will be towards those people that may need help. We may have challenges to where, say, if we're doing like a fitness challenge for our health, because a lot of people are suffering from different acute, is it acute or chronic? It's acute diseases that can really get moved from just health. So we may have those challenges, and the winner may get a prize, a monetary prize. So all these things is kind of helping. So with that, I yield. I think I'm talking a little too much. We look forward to you all tuning in next Shabbat. Be a lesson next Shabbat as well, and coming in so we can start doing these prayer calls and just this encouragement for our lives. A lot of us are doing this walk alone, individual lights is what people call it, or even if you're not on this path as Israel and you're a Christian or wherever you may be, this is for you all to come in too and gather information that can help build your lives up and your closeness with the Most High. So that's the whole thing. And I just wanted to make a way to where it could benefit those that have already been donating. Now you're going to be inside of a community, and you'll have individuals that is on the path of like-mindedness that's going to be there daily with you. So, all right. May the Most High bless and guard you all. Yabrechem, Yahweh, Yishmarechem. I'm going to go ahead and play My People Rising. That is the focus of our ministry, is for our people to rise mentally, spiritually, and physically, to be successful as husbands and wives, to be successful as young adults, to go into adulthood. Home is the foundation, right? Community is its mirror, and the nation is its product. So it starts from us, and that is the plan. All right, here we go. I'm going to play this. May the Most High bless and guard you all. Shalom.
That dream is green, and I don't mean material things. Freedom to the land, to woman and man, as we take up for what we stand. Better days and better nights, as we stand and unite. We're one and the same. Why is it so hard not to point and to blame? Better sheet, get our houses in order, and we'll see the peace. There are steps that we must take if we want to see.
I see my people rising, no more stopping us. Couple billion niggas cross America, us. The peace rose for the sake of us.
The sake of us, the
I
sake
see
of us.
my people rising, no more stopping us. Couple billion niggas cross America, us. The peace rose for the sake of us. No more feeling, telling me and beneath. What a beautiful moment, and a sight I can't wait to see. Even if I miss it, at least I was a part of the mission, changing lives of men, women, and children. All glory goes to He that causes us all to be you. And if they're thinking we can, show them that just as long as we stand. A monument, we the people can't be broken as long as we stay focused. I see my people rising, no one stopping us. Couple billion niggas cross America.